What's going on? It's Justeeni here, and today we're doing the Q&A thing. You read the title, probably. But yeah, let's just get right into it. All right, first question. Do you see yourself doing some other games on your channel in the future? Well, I mean, I already have been doing some other games, but the main focus will be Polytopia on this channel. Daily, Polytopia uploads every day. Occasionally, I'll upload some other stuff in addition to that. Current games that I'm playing is going to be chess, PvZ Heroes, a little bit of that. I've been getting into Clash Royale recently, if you guys want to see some of that as well. And possibly some Magic the Gathering Arena. I think that'd be kind of it, unless I find some random other game. If you guys have any recommendations, I might also consider those. But yeah, mostly Polytopia, but the occasional, maybe one or two videos on some other game, that kind of thing. How are you today? Doing pretty well. How about you? All right. You should be able to build and connect bridges at an exponential price per tile. Thoughts? I have been thinking about this one. It's a pretty interesting idea, but I think it can be improved a little bit. Not that I think the idea is bad, but I think it could be executed a little better. Because with making it exponentially more expensive, that's just going to make it so then at some point it's just not worth getting because it's just too expensive to be worth it. So instead of just making it more expensive and having to do some weird math to figure out how to actually make it balanced, why not just have a hard limit on how many you can place per city? Because I do really like bridges, but I'd say the one issue that I have and that probably a lot of other people have is it's you need these very specific conditions to be able to place it, which is a little annoying. I think the condition should just be, is it a shallow water tile? If yes, you can place it, but only one per city to have some sort of limitation. Yeah, that's my take there. Anything in Polytopia that you miss or wish was still in the game? A few things. Old Polaris. You guys know how I feel about Polaris currently. I really like old Polaris because I felt like they fought pretty fair. They were a very high skill tribe, and they kind of stuck to pretty solid theme. They were kind of weak early game, but then they gradually got stronger as they went. But it's not like they were completely unstoppable at a certain point. It was just harder and harder to fight them because they had more to work with, not so much as you get to him, you lose kind of thing. But I don't know. It was always interesting, the options that Pillair had and the options against. Instead of right now where it feels like you just don't have counterplay to certain things. I don't know. And then the other thing, this is going to be a little bit of a hot take, but I think battleships were kind of nice. Now, before you get the pitchforks, I don't think the battleships should be brought back in their previous form, with 4 attack and dash and absolutely by far the best unit in the sea. No. I'm going to make a separate video on this, but some sort of battleship-like unit where it's kind of just a good all-rounder and notably having good defense, no stiff, and can actually fight back against naval dominance. I think that's the main thing I like about old battleships is right now if someone gets naval dominance, they get enough ships in the water, at some point you just can't fight back against it. But with old naval, because of battleships, you could fight back, even if they really took over the water. So I guess that's something I miss about old Polytopia that I kind of wish was back. Another Polytopia related question, unsurprisingly. Any thoughts on future of Polytopia? Because after the Ancients are finally released and Pillair since they meant to get a skin, what now? Only skins until the end? I mean, I think the game has quite a lot going for it, content-wise. I think, I already made a video on this, Polytopia definitely needs more game modes, because that can kind of allow more ways to express yourself in the game without because you can't really add more text, and once you've added so many special tribes, it kind of like becomes redundant. And you can only add so many skins as well. So I feel like for adding new content, that's gonna probably be in the form of like game modes, maybe new map types, stuff like that. And then also probably quite a lot of like rebalancing and stuff to keep things fresh. And as long as the meta is like really diverse and interesting, then the game will kind of keep itself going in that sense, I think, if it's just well balanced. Next question. Do you play chess? Would you like to see some more deterministic chess-like game modes with less randomness introduced to Polytopia for competitive players, like no ruins, fair terrain, fair village density, etc.? I do play chess. As for like whether I'd want like more deterministic game modes, like kind of like, of course I want village density to be fair. I think that's a given, but I don't want that to come at the expense of randomness, because one thing that I do really like about Polytopia is the randomness. When you go in a game, you have to adapt on the fly, and that adaptation that you have to make in every game is what I think makes Polytopia such a good game. So I feel like a more deterministic game would not be good. Again, I think like having fair village density, for example, is good. Fair terrain, I mean, I don't think that's possible unless you force mirror matches in every game or something like that. And then no ruins. I also kind of like I do think ruins do need some adjustments, but removing them outright, I think would obviously take away more than it would add. Even from like a competitive level, it would just make the game less fun and interesting. So no, I would not like more deterministic Polytopia. Alright, if you could permanently delete or remove one tribe from Polytopia, which one would it be and why? It's not Pillair, actually. No. Because here's the thing with Pillair and why I wouldn't delete them. I hate them a lot. But they can be changed. They can be reworked. They can be salvaged into something different. Now, is there a tribe that I don't think can really be salvaged in the same sense? Honestly, I feel like all the normal tribes obviously are fine, and all the special tribes, honestly, because if they're not in a good state currently, well, they can be made into something good. I think basically the tribe that works the least well in the game is, I guess how I'm perceiving this question, I guess would be Aquarion. I don't know, thematically they're a little awkward because they're reliant on specifically water and coastal combat, which kind of makes them no matter how you balance them, they're just going to be naturally favored on water-based maps and less favored for land-based maps, which is just gonna it's kind of hard to make them work in that sense. You could argue oh, but Pillair works like that too, but they used to not work like that. They can go into a completely different theme and be reworked like that, but how do you rework Aquarion to make them not the water tribe? I don't know. That's my take on that. And for the other questions, also, which tech do you think would be a good / balanced starting tech? And if it were to be made into a tribe, what name would you give that tribe? I mean, I think with all the nerfs to forestry, that would, in theory, be a balanced starting tech, but it wouldn't be all too interesting. It's just Barter 2.0, basically. But as for one that I think would be good and also balanced is diplomacy. Now, not starting with a cloak, of course, but just starting with diplomacy and a warrior. Would it be too strong in FFAs? Probably, but everyone gets diplomacy anyway, so I don't think it would actually matter that much. But I think it would be very fun, especially in 1v1s, starting with diplomacy and having cloaks right away. It's not really the same as Quetzali, because Quetzali doesn't actually get cloaks that often in 1v1s, but a tribe that has diplomacy right off the bat could think about it. And it's not like, I don't know, I think it would be pretty fun to like go against as well. I feel like it would be pretty fair to fight. If it were, and what name would I give it? I don't know. I'm not creative. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll just skip that for now. Unless I think of something, then I might like put it in the description or comment. So maybe like check that if I'm gonna like kind of put a pin in that for now. Okay, next one. Can you tell something about yourself? How old are you? Where are you from? What do you do for a living? Would be nice to know something about you. Yeah, sure. I just recently turned 20. I am from the United States of America. You already know. And for a living, I am a chess teacher. Yeah, I teach chess from like beginner to about 1200 rating. It's very fun. I enjoy it. Yeah. What do you think of the balance of the game right now? I think I feel like I can say this for like a lot of versions of the game, is there's a lot of good and a lot of bad. I'll just put it that way. Like, I enjoy playing the game because a lot of like stuff are very interesting about the game. I'd say like the meta in a lot of ways is pretty interesting and surprisingly diverse. It's just there's the occasional thing, cough cough Polaris, like cough cough Sanctuary, funny Lotto, and cough cough Cymanti Fungi, and turn zeros are too strong. Like tribe balance can be questionable in a lot of ways, and there's like some like gameplay stuff with special tribes, and even some things with normal tribes, they're just kind of unfun. But there are also quite a lot of fun stuff. Like, even with how overpowered markets are, like, they are overpowered, I'm not gonna deny that. They are actually pretty fun to use, even despite that. And like, Rider Roads will always be fun, and it's actually in a pretty healthy state right now, I'd say. And like, archers are in a good spot, knights are good, cloaks are good, catapults are good. Like, there's a lot of stuff that kind of just like works in a good way and doesn't feel like too overbearing, but also doesn't feel like too useless either. I don't know, like, a lot of things do currently work. Like, if kind of the more questionable stuff kind of gets ironed out, then I think the game is just in a really good spot. Like, yeah. When was the last time you showered? This is a very valid question. I showered this morning, so like about 12 hours ago. I shower every day. I'm such a gamer. I don't need showers. Showers are for non-gamers. You see, I have 1,000 subs, so I'm too good for that stuff. I don't know. Yeah. Segue to the outro of the video. Like and sub, and have a good one.